Hey there, my name is Janir Hines, and I am the lead attorney at Tampa Advocate Law in Tampa, Florida. I practice mostly criminal defense, and today I'm going to be talking to you about some violent crime issues. Specifically, today we're going to cover battery. There's a lot of misconception about what batteries are, how people end up getting charged with them, what qualifies and what doesn't, and all the different levels of batteries. We're going to be covering all of that today. So first up, what is a battery? A battery under Florida law, and now mind you, I'm going to be talking about Florida law because I do practice in the state of Florida. If you're in a different state, it's probably going to be very similar, but there are some differences, so feel free to do your research and find out what those differences are. But in the state of Florida, a battery is any touch or strike to another person. And that may mean you physically reaching out, touching the person. It may also mean you using an object to touch or strike another person. So, for example, if you were to have a water bottle in your hand, there was water in it, you threw it in someone's face, that would be considered a battery, believe it or not. Also, if you were to take the bottle, obviously, if you took the actual water bottle and threw it at someone, that would also be considered a battery. Now that, provided that there's no actual harm to the person, that is considered a simple battery, which is a misdemeanor. That means that, well, at least in Florida, you can't get more than a year jail time for that. Usually for batteries, you may not necessarily get jail time if this is your first time ever being in trouble, at least. But basically, a misdemeanor is something that, is not as serious as compared to a felony, and that society chooses to treat as less egregious. So that is a simple battery. A battery can be considered a felony or more serious under certain different circumstances. One of those circumstances is if it actually causes harm to a person. Now, with the simple battery, it may not necessarily do the person harm. So, for example, if you were to take a feather, obviously a feather, usually if you throw it like on somebody's shoulder or something, it's not going to cause any harm to them. If everything else being equal, it not being a dangerous poisonous feather or something, but just a normal light piece of feather, piece of paper or something like that, if you throw it at someone, it's not likely to cause them harm, but it still would be considered a battery. Now, a felony battery would happen if it actually does cause the person harm. So for example, if you take the same water bottle example, if you took the water bottle, you threw it at someone, it had some sharp edges, or maybe it was a very heavy bottle, maybe it had lead in it or something, and it was actually to cause some kind of harm. So say it has sharp edges, it caused some scrapes or some wounds or something like that. That would be not a felony, not a misdemeanor and not a simple battery, but it would be a felony battery because it caused bodily harm to the victim. In addition to that, there's also, for example, a domestic battery by strangulation would be considered a felony. That's if, a domestic situation would be if you live with someone, it's your spouse, it's your child, something like that, and you strangle them, cutting off their air supply, that would be considered a felony, not a simple battery. Another way that a battery could be considered a felony is if you've had a charge for battery before. So if this is your second or subsequent, then that simple battery is actually going to be treated as a felony.